Here's the way I think about it, and this is my opinion. I think we're living in a world now that is just moving so ridiculously fast, right? And with all the social media, and if you got 5 minutes, oh, I better check my phone, I better check my email, my text, my Snapchat. There's this, we're in constant motion, right? And that inability to say, wait a minute, okay, that's all real interesting, but what really matters here? What really matters? And am I just moving so fast that I'm not even aware of what I'm doing? And I think until you actually ask yourself what really matters, and until you actually start to prioritize. I don't know if it's happened to some of you, but what happens to me often is, in the morning, I'll start making a list of all the things I need to do, right? And very quickly, you can write down over the next week or so, here's the 30 or 40 things I need to do, right? And then I realize, okay, now human nature is, I start to cross off all the easy ones, right? I could do that, I did that, did that, did that. But it turns out, the 2 or 3 most important things, I don't do, right? And I think, well, wait a minute, how did that happen? Well, I didn't take the time to prioritize, right? And I got so busy crossing stuff off that was really minor things, rather than saying, no, this is all interesting, but what are the 2 or 3 things I really, truly need to focus on, right? So in my mind, I think it almost comes down to, figuring out a way to find a time when you can actually, go into a room by yourself, or find a quiet place, and just say, you know what, for the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I'm not going to answer a phone, I'm not going to look at my smartphone, I'm not going to pick up anything, I'm literally going to just think through some of these things, I think it almost has to become a habit. In fact, it's interesting, students will say to me, okay, so you do this 15-minute self-reflection, this self-examination, do you do it every day? And I said, well, I do it every day. And I said, the example I use is many of us in this room, even if we're at a party till midnight, 1 in the morning, most people in this room, before they go to sleep, they'll probably brush their teeth, right? Because you kind of got into that habit when you were...
Let's hope so.
What's that?
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so, right? Because you got in that habit when you were 3 years old, and it's just a habit, right? So that's the habit I developed, right? And interesting, if I said, oh, I know what I'm going to do this for an hour, I got to tell you, I would easily rationalize, oh, I don't have an hour, I don't have a half. But for me, hard to rationalize I don't have 15 minutes, right? Now, some people do it at night, some people may do it the first thing in the morning, right? There's no one way to do this, right? God bless you. Some people are morning people, and, I'm not a morning guy. I mean, I get up, no earlier than I absolutely have to, okay? That's because I stay up so late. But, whether it's the morning, whether it's something you do over lunch, okay, I got a lunch, and you know what? I'm just going to go out to the car. I'm just going to get off by myself. I'm just going to not turn the radio on. But taking a little bit of time to just think through these things, right? Because life happens so fast, and I think an awful lot of people don't take the time to figure out. They never live in the moment. That's another way to think about it, right? I always ask people, do you ever live in the moment, right? Or are you thinking about what I got to do next, or what did I just do? But do you ever just actually stay in the moment? And I think that's a big part of it.